Tonight is going to be a great one. I'm really excited about this. One of the most important things you can learn how to do in this profession is really create a winning environment, right? I mean, that's really what this is about, is helping you understand all the levers that are in this business, using the comp plan to drive behavior, understanding, and literally most of you, I would say probably in the organization, probably my probably our best leaders probably know maybe 90% of these. I mean, maybe not, but there's always a couple, man. You're just like, ooh, Tim, I forgot about that one. This is going to be a fun training tonight because I'm literally going to give you the cheat code. When we got started in Riman, we really quickly figured out there was a lot of levers in this comp plan. We're like, ooh, this is going to be a fun one to run through. And tonight, if some of you feel like maybe you're a manager or a senior manager or a team leader or maybe even a director, but you feel like kind of you haven't had that breakthrough, it's probably because you're missing a couple of these points tonight that I'm going to bring home. So I'm going to dive into it today. You guys all know me, right? Tim, Herr, everybody, just over here, just serving people and helping people win. Just so you guys all know, I will be in Mexico this weekend. So if you know people in Mexico City or Guadalajara, find out about those dates. But tonight, I want to let you guys all know the keys to closing the month strong is number one, stay committed to your goal. Right? When you set a goal, okay, you want to stay committed to it. And I'm going to give you a couple powerful things to think about. Right? Set the kind of goals that are going to make something of you to achieve them. Right? If you're like, okay, last month let's say I did 5,000 in volume, and you're like, okay, this month I want to do six. Like that's uninspiring, right? That's not an inspiring goal. You want to have a goal that's going to get you inspired, right? If you did 5,000 last month, let's do 30,000 this month, right? If right now, give you an example, let's say right now you're at 5,000 in volume on the month. Let's go for 30. You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of goals that get you fired up, right? If you're like, okay, I'm at 5,000 this month. If I could just close at 10,000, that'll be exciting. It's like, no, you want to set the kind of goals that are going to make something of you to achieve them, right? So number one is you can make up a month's worth of production in 1 week. You've got to understand that. Okay. My mentor taught me this very early on, and it probably was some of the most life-changing information because I was like, I saw this guy and he was like one of my mentors. He was the one that was like the probably the best closer that I learned from on how to like get pen to paper and get people in the system, right? And I'm like, I told him, I said, Chance, why are you running around right now? He says, dude, it's the end of the month close. And I'm like, I was like maybe 3 months in, and like I wasn't really doing any, I wasn't even doing any, I don't think I signed anybody up yet. I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, what? He looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, man, you can make up a month's worth of production in a week. And he said, this is what he said next. You can make up a week's worth of production in a day. And that stuck with me. I don't know why, but it was an early conversation 3 months in. I just with one of my not even my uplines, just a guy that was my sideline that I was learning from. And I thought, man, what does that mean? I didn't even know what he's talking about. But I'm like, man, I need to learn that. So it stuck with me to this day, right? And I love what Confucius said. He said, when it's obvious that goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps, right? So we'll talk about that today. And I want to get into some of this stuff. Most people think this is what success looks like, right? You either succeed or you fail. And that's the farthest thing from the truth, right? The only way to succeed is through failure. Failure is the path to success, not the opposite, right? So you fail, you learn something, you fail again, you learn something, you learn again, you get back up, and then boom, you become a success. So let's talk a little bit about this, right? We all know everybody's goals manager. And how do you become a manager? You need 3,000. When people get started, they want to become a manager, senior manager, really senior manager, but manager is kind of that step on the way, right? But obviously, manager 3,000 in sales points within 3 consecutive months, including any personal volume, whatever you sell or buy, and plus your level one recruits who you personally sponsor, and you can count up to 1,500 from one recruit, right? We all know that. Obviously, the main goal, everybody wants to get to senior manager. Senior manager, very similar. 6,000 in sales points within 3 consecutive months. Okay, 3 consecutive months, including personal volume, what you buy or sell, plus your level one recruits. Okay, level one recruits up to 3,000 from one frontline recruit. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, that's everybody's goal. We got to get that done no matter what. Now, let's talk a little bit about impending events. This is all exciting information that you literally are going to fall in love with. Like you're going to be like, oh my God, this is jackpot city, Tim. I'm so glad you showed this to me. So I'm going to break all these down. These are the impending events that I focus on because everybody has to understand this one simple fact about our profession. Okay. Not just Riman, but the entire profession. The reward system, right? The pay plan is going to drive a certain behavior. And in our pay plan, we've got so many things to help close volume and create massive urgency at the end of the month. That's why in the last, 42 to 72 hours of the month, like the last 2 to 3 days of the month, we do 40% of our monthly volume in the last 2 to 3 days. And let me explain to you why. I'm going to go through them reasons why right now. Okay. First thing is what, right? Okay. Who got started 3 months ago? Who got started 3 months ago? Now, why is that relevant? Well, let's say that I got started in November. If I got started in November, November's month one, December's month two, January's month what? Three. Remember 3 consecutive months? Now, we all know senior manager doesn't take 3 consecutive months, but for whatever reasons, Christmas, obviously, people, and then you got New Year's, people, just kind of basically take the foot off the accelerator. A lot of times, it takes till mid-January till everybody's back at full strength because of holiday hangover, right? It's all about getting out of the pit stop fast, right? And that's how you really dominate. But understanding who got started 3 months ago, right? So November's 3 months is up when? January, right? So if people got started in November, we need to know who they are. Why? Because we need to get them to what? To senior manager by the end of the month. Now, if somebody got started in December, when is their start date? I mean, if anybody has a start date in December, when's their third month? February. February's critical because that's convention month, right? That's the convention month. So we're pushing really hard because everybody that's a senior manager is running. November, we did a lot of extra volume, right? And that volume is going to fall off, right? For in 5 months, right? So November, December will fall off in March, but everybody's running for what? Team leader by February. So then go to the Friday night party, right? Friday night, we're going to be doing a party for team leaders. It's going to be so much fun, okay? And that's open to every team leader and higher, right? So everybody's running for that. So let's talk a little bit about that, what that looks like, okay? Who got started 3 months ago? Manager, senior manager deadline, okay? How do we find this information out? You need to remember what I'm telling you right now because I'm not going to tell you this again throughout the training, okay? If people are asking me, how do I find my team? I was on that training. How do I find that my team again? Then I'll add it to all the slides, right? But I know you guys are all smart enough. You know what I mean? Mainly if you're in our team, I already know you're smart, right? Because, I'm not. But anyways, how you find these people is go to my team. You guys get what that is, okay? So when you log into your back office, you look under my business and you're going to see a little thing that says my team. Boom, right there. We found the my team. And then we're going to need that over and over again, okay? So now what you want to do is change the category if it's not on new planner to what? New planner. Not all categories. You needed to say what? New planner. And then what do? You change the date right here. It'll be January 2026. You need to change it to what? November 2025. Why? Because that was 3 months ago. Okay. And then what'll happen is when you look at that information, it's going to show you everybody that got started in November. Now, what do you want to do? Right? What I do is this, right? Is what I'll do is I'll change it typically to rank. First, I'll look at managers because if somebody's a manager that started in November, what do we need to do? We got to get them a senior manager, right? Because that's called not having to climb to the top of the tree, right? If you want to pick a fruit, there's no need to the top of the tree, right? You don't always have to do that. You can just pick the one that's right there because all we're trying to do is create senior managers. So anybody that hit manager in November already, we got to make sure we get them to the situation, right? So I usually will change my rank to manager or whatever. But let's say you can also put it in order by click and rank right here above where it says double click ID number, where it says rank and the arrows pointed up. You can do that and it'll put them in order of like manager, senior manager, planner. Okay. So then you look for somebody that it got started in 3 months ago, right? That's running hard, right? So you find out those people. And this one, I think I'm gonna look at Matuku, this person, right? And what am I gonna do? Right? I'm gonna double click their ID number. Why am I gonna do that? I'm double clicking that ID number because then I want to go to what? Line of sponsorship. Why do I want to double click on line of sponsorship? So like once I double click their ID number, their snapshot shows up just like this. I click on line of sponsorship. When I do that, it'll tell me who their uplines are, right? Now I'm going to find out who their uplines are. And this person's under Sharon, and that is working with Leah Lavoie, one of her team leaders, right? This person's already a manager. So I'm going to call Leah and call Sharon and be like, look, boom, we got to set up a Zoom so we can rank these people up, right? We got to set up a Zoom to rank these people up. And that's if your organization's really big. If your organization right now, you're a senior manager and you see this person, you probably want to reach out to your team leader and say, hey, so-and-so's close to manager, right? Or so-and-so's joined 3 months ago. We got to wrap them up as senior manager this month. Let's jump on a Zoom with them, right? And you understand, reach out to your uplines, right? Get your uplines involved. Why? Because they get paid a lot of money, right? As a team leader, you make an incredible amount of override on your organization. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So you want to make sure we get together with these people, set up a game plan, and help them rank up. Okay. So that's people that got started 3 months ago. Now, who got started 30 days ago? Right? Whose 30 days is coming up? Why? Because we got to upgrade their starter kit, right? So what do? Right? Same thing. Guess where we're at? Okay. We're at that my team. Remember that how we got that app? Or how we got that how we found this report? What we want to do is category new planner, and then we want to go to what? Change it to last month's start date. Okay. And then double click to find out. This is what I do is I'll double click that ID number to find out who the upline is. I found this person right here that just got started, Joanna Lung. She's basically what? She's almost a what? Almost a senior manager. And she started a month ago, right? On the 25th is her deadline. So I want to do what, right? I want to get together with her upline team leader. If this is somebody's like this in your organization, anybody that is coming up on their 30-day end, we need to upgrade them, right? They still have until 30 days from their enrollment to do what? Buy a starter kit. Then the starter kits are gone. So you want to make sure anybody that is within their that has their 30-day deadline coming up, they upgrade their starter kit. Usually on the first of the month is the best time to pull the report, but also at the close of the month because we have a ton of new planners come in at the end of the month, okay? Very important to do this, okay? Now let's talk about some other things that are super important. Why everyone wants to get at least 1,000 SP starter set when they get started. I got to explain this to you, okay? So if somebody gets started and they don't get 1,000-point starter set, they don't have a unilevel, right? They don't have a unilevel. They don't have their 10 free accounts, and they just sign up. Let's say they sign up for a 300-point package. And when they sponsor, I'm going to show you how much money they make on their level 1 planners and level 2 planners. But when most people get started, the majority of them are going to get what? 1,000 SP set or higher. Why? And we help them get their 10 free lifetime customers, right? Free account, I call my sister, call my family member, said, hey, do me a favor, right? I need you to just do me a favor. I'll show you these products later and you can decide if you want to get them, but I need to get 10 people just to say yes to open up a free account. And then you can go back and order these products. They're amazing. You'll love them. But if you don't order, it's not a big deal. Just do me a favor real quickly and open up an account. All I need is your email and your permission. And then boom, you set them up for a free account. You need 10, okay? Right? And you get your 10 accounts and you start with 1,000 SP. What happens? You unlock your what? Unilevel. So let me show you the difference in pay. If I'm a planner, I'm going to get 5% on my level 1 if I don't buy 1,000-point set, or if I don't buy 1,000-point set and get my 10 lifetime customers, right? Now, if I open up my unilevel by getting 1,000-point set and getting my 10 free accounts, now I'm going to make 10%. On level 2, instead of making 0, I'm going to make what? 5. So would you rather make basically 10 and 5 or just 5? This is an IQ test, right? Now, we all know, if you've been in Riman long, 300 points is not going to last you a lifetime, right? If you get that 300-point set, you're not even going to have any products to demo. So you're going to have a really hard time having any success. Like you're literally going to bat and going to war with the spoon, right? You want to make sure everybody understands this when they get started, right? So you'll have people that'll join and get started that don't get 1,000-point set. What do you need to do? Right? You need to find out from these new planners and get on the phone with them and upgrade them, man, because they're about to not succeed. And whoever's signing them up is doing them a disservice, right? By not making sure they succeed. So hitting SM, let me show you guys this. Let's say you get 1,000-point set and you recruit 5 people, right, to do the same thing. And you help them do the same thing by hitting senior manager. So when you get started with 1,000-point set, you recruit 5 people with 1,000-point sets because people will join at the set that you do. If you get started with a 300-point set, nobody's going to get started with a bigger set, right? People are going to follow your lead, right? Nobody's going to follow somebody that's not committed. So what's going to happen is if I get 1,000-point set and I recruit 5 people, they're going to ask me what set I got started with, boom. And then that gets me to what? Senior manager, right? And then I'm going to teach them to do the same thing, right? So what would happen in this scenario is I would make a $77 rebate plus on my level 1, right? Obviously, I got 1,000-point set. I'm going to get my 10 lifetime customers. And then basically what happens is my differential is going to be $310. That's what I earn through the differential because I'm going to hit manager on the way. And my unilevel is going to be $195. You guys see that? Okay. Now what happens here is on my second level planners that got duplicated out because everybody did what I did, I'm going to make $1,942, right? $971 through differential and $971 through unilevel. Do you guys see how important the unilevel compensation plan is? You know what I mean? Because when you look at it, you're like, man, I would barely break 1,000. It'd be what, $1,061 as opposed to 1942 if I didn't unlock my unilevel, right? So we want to make sure everybody's maximizing their income. Okay, getting started with 1,000 point set. Okay, so with that being said, why everyone gets at least 1,000 point set? Because how you start will duplicate. Okay, how many level one planners needed to become a senior manager? So if you get started with a pack, how many people do you need to do to get started at that same pack for you to hit senior manager? Let's talk about it. Okay, so let's say I get no kid, a 300 point kid, a 1,000 point kid, 1,500 point kid, two 1,500 point kids, or four 1,500 point kids. How many people do I need to recruit level one? Level one, if I get no kid, I'm gonna have to just recruit forever. I'm never gonna, I mean, it's infinity, right? You have to recruit basically in this, you'll never be able to get there, right? Because you can't recruit your way there. If you don't get a set, they don't get a set. You just basically have an ID number in the company and you're just hanging out, right? Now, if you get a 300 point set, all you got to do is recruit 19 other people to do the same thing. 1,000 point set, you need 5 people to do the same thing. A 1,500 point set, 3 people to do the same thing. If you get 2 1,500 point sets, right, you need 1 recruit to do the same. And if you get 4 1,500 point sets, that's what I did. I was a senior manager on day 1, right? So I hit right when I ordered those packs, boom, I hit senior manager. Do you guys see that? So I got senior manager pay on all my activity after. Look, I know some people are like, oh, that's $6,000, Tim. To some people, that's a lot. To some people, that's a joke. You get what I mean? It's all depending on where you are in life, right, at the time. But the fact of the matter is when you think about it, an average small business, and if you look at the Small Business Administration today, the average small business in America today, the average small business loan is $450,000, right? And out of those businesses, after 5 years, 84% of them fail. Do you guys see that? So would you $450,000, and the ones that are profitable are profiting about 7%, right? So if I put in 6,000 like I did, I'm like, okay, 6,000 is better than 450,000, and I was about to invest 7 million into a business, so definitely 6,000 was better. But I was making 30% profits right from the beginning on everybody that I introduced to the products. So I'm like, duh, 30% profit, like that's unheard of in a business world, right? So some people that are business owners, that they see it, but don't push that on people that aren't like business minded or people that really want to become successful, right? Now let's talk about, that's why everybody needs to get at least 1,000 points. Who started this month, right? That hasn't gotten a 1,000 point. Who needs 1,000 point starter kit to unlock their unilevel? Plus, obviously, their 10 lifetime customers. You always got to make sure you get them their 10, help them get their 10 lifetime customers. Okay. So how do you find out who got started this month? Right when you plug into your back office, and there's a blue number there that says new. Do you guys see that number? Blue number, underline that's blue. That's your team that got started this month. Click on that number, and then boom. What'll happen is all your team will come up, right? And then you can manage it by hitting like their personal volume. And then this person here got 700, says 701, right? So what do I need to do with them? Look for anyone this month that didn't get at least personally 1,000 in SP. Find their uplines and then connect with them on a Zoom and upgrade them, right? And if they're like frontline you or whatever, utilize your uplines. Like your uplines make money for a reason, right? To support you. Okay, that's what makes this industry so powerful, right? So if you see a lot of people join your group that aren't getting started without at least 1,000 point sets, you need to connect with the upline, because that upline clearly doesn't understand the compensation plan, right? They clearly don't understand what they're doing to people, right? If somebody gets started and you're like, wait a second, they only bought like this person, I have a person right here that bought 81 points. It's like, obviously they just want to be a customer. They're not interested in making money, but why? I need to talk to it up. I can be like, a person that's coming in with at least 300, right? You should be signing them up as customers, not as planners, right? But I'm going to call this person, get in touch with this person that has 701 and be like, look, man, we got to get you upgraded right now. Right. So I'm telling you how to drive your business. Okay. How do you get everybody on your team getting 1,000 points by the end of the month so they can unlock their unilevel? This is it, right? It's powerful stuff. I'm so glad I'm sharing it. Now, what manager, senior manager needs their 3 active customers, and team leader that needs their 5 active customers this month still? I start with my top producers, right? I click on this manager here, check them out, right? And I go to my top managers. and this person's got 9. Okay, cool, they're clear. But if you've got, you got to at the beginning, you want to look through there because you can get a lot of volume just by making sure everybody's got their 3 or 5 active customers on a monthly basis. And you can also see when the person became a manager, right? You want to know when they became a manager because this person actually became a manager this month. They don't need their three customers, right? So you look at those little things and make sure you help navigate everybody. Very easy to do, very smart. But another way to do what? Drive volume and pending events, right? We talk about it all the time. Now, who's running for team leader hire? Okay, why? Because that's a once a month rank advancement. Okay, so you look, anybody that got started in September, when's their 5th month coming up? Right? September, October, November, December, January. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they got started in September or maybe they got started last year. But if they're running for team leader, we've got to look at what? We got to look at September, October, November, December, January. What happens January 1? February 1. September volume will fall off, right? And then their 5-month period will be what? Right? October, November, December, January, February. So it's a rolling 5 months. So we want to make sure the people that are close that we do what? That we help them wrap up help them wrap up team leader by when? Right now, like by the end of the month. There's going to be so many people right now that are going to rank advance a team leader this month and next month because they want to walk on stage at Long Beach Convention Center, right? They want to go to the team leader party Friday night at Long Beach Convention Center, right? So you're going to have so many people hitting team leader January and February just because of the convention, right? And that's a big driver. So the volume's about to go through the roof right now as we close out January and close out Feb and go right into February. Now is the time, right? I wouldn't be surprised if there was some type of a special that gets announced on Friday, right? I mean, there's a lot of exciting things that are happening right now. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, are there any team leaders that need their 10,000 SP open line by the monthly maintenance, right? Obviously, 50,000 over 5 months is what? That's basically 10,000 a month, right? Somebody should be doing 10,000 open line always. They've got to put somebody under them that's about to become a team leader. They should be sponsoring new legs and driving new volume, right? Some people they'll do their minimums, right? And I'll talk about that. How to if you are you did you become a team leader because you want a shiny pin, or did you a team leader because you want to impress your banker, right? It's like, let's make the money, and I'll teach you how to do that later. But let's look at this, okay? So what do? Right? You go to team leader. I don't know what. Oh, this is on. It's supposed to be up a little bit, but go to top producers. Go to your team leaders. See how close they are. Right. And then what you want to do is get to around that 10,000 mark and see how close everybody is. Right. Because when they're close, like say somebody, this is not the end of the month. Obviously, these people do it. But at the end of the month, you'll have people that are like maybe like 1,000, 2,000 away when your group gets bigger. And I just call them and say, like, what pop-ups do you have coming up in February? You probably are going to need the products for those pop-ups to sell. Right. And to introduce people to the products. You're going to get a 40 to 50% return if you actually hit your 10,000 maintenance, right? Plus you're going to get your team leader overrides, right? Plus you're going to get, your generational match bonus. Your income is like way higher, right? So I just kind of help them understand the compensation plan. They're like, look, you're going to get a 40 to 50% return on whatever you need to buy for the products for your pop-ups the next 30 days. Let's maybe buy some products, right? So you can hit that 10,000. Now, the 10,000 is the best thing that happened. Somebody goes, why do you have a 10,000 maintenance? When you get to be in a position like we are, like Chris and I are, where you have over 600 team leaders, you're going to find out that there's so many people that just do the minimum. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people don't want to become they're not here to get wealthy. They just want to make maybe an extra few thousand a month, maybe 5 or 10,000 a month to help out around the house, right? Part time. Doesn't matter what, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter to us, right? But you're going to have a lot of people. And if you shrank that 10,000 to say 5,000, guess what would happen? Everybody would do 5,000. I'm like, how do we get this thing up to 20,000? Because it'll help people make more money because they're always going to do, there's just people in life that are always going to make their minimums or maximums, right? No matter what. So if you raise that bar, so will everybody else's production. But 10,000 is a good, adequate number. It's super simple to hit, obviously. But you want to look at who's close, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about, obviously, who still needs to unlock their Unilevel, right? Who hasn't got their 1,000 personal SP and 10 free accounts, right? Most people have already got their 10 free accounts, but maybe this month haven't gotten their 1,000 personal. So how do you look at that? Follow me on this. My team, right? I start with team leaders, okay? And then I start with senior directors, and I go to directors, and I go to team leaders, and I go to senior managers, and I work my way down, right? Because the organization is pretty big. But what I'll do is you go to all categories. See that? You can change the country. I start at team leaders, but you might want to start with senior managers or whatever. And then this month, and then what you do is look at their personal volume. So it's going to be personal orders for here. That's what they bought. You're going to have personal customers, which is what they sold, and then you're going to have total team volume, which is basically what they bought and sold combined. That number needs to be 1,000. Whatever they buy or sells, their total personal volume. So when you see people that are like 864, 857, 852, 845, 841, what am I doing? Calling these people, making sure right? That we have a plan to get all their get their 1,000 points. You're going to have a lot of people in your organization, mainly early on, that do not understand this, right? My team leaders all understand this, right? Team leaders all get this, right? Because you're unlocking an incredible amount of money, right? And then also there's a matching bonus on that. So there's another 85% paid out, another 85% paid out on whatever they earn at unilevel. So everybody's making sure their team leaders unlock their unilevel, right? Because basically the 22% they earn plus 85%, you're looking at 40% payout. We're not missing 40% payout, right? That's ridiculous. So we always make sure everybody hits their money. But the newer people are the ones that need it the most, because when are you recruiting first and second level people, right? Early on, right? Your first month, first 2 months, first 3 months is when you're usually recruiting the most. So you want to make sure everybody in your team's doing getting their 1,000 in personal SP so they can do unlock their unilevel. Some of the organizations are very good at this because they do a lot of recognition around this, right? It's super important. So you want to make sure people are doing that, obviously. That's a no-brainer. I'm giving you guys the nuggets, okay? Now, why do you want to unlock the unilevel? Let's take a look at what goes on. Okay, all these numbers right here, okay, planners are going to earn 10%, right? An extra 5 on level 1, 5 on level 2, right? Senior managers are going to earn an additional 5 and 5. Senior managers are going to earn 5 and 5 and 3 and 3, right? Team leaders are going to earn 5, 5, 3, 3, 3. Directors 5, 5, 3, 3, 3, 3. And then they're going to get a 2% override beyond their 6 levels. Senior directors are 5, 5, 3, 3, 4, 4, right? They get a little pay raise, plus they're going to get the 3% override past level 6. And then national directors are going to get 5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, plus 4% past level 6. So there's a lot of money on the table for you unlocking your unilevel, right? Mainly early on, because if you're only getting 5% as a planner, you definitely want to get an extra 5% and 5% on level 2, right? Manager, same thing. Would you rather get 10% or 15 on level 1 and 5% on level 2? Or would you rather get 0 on level 2, right? It's kind of a no-brainer, right? So senior manager, same thing, right? You're getting a 5%, you're getting that 5% unlimited, plus you're getting the 5, 3, 3. So you want to help everybody unlock their unilevel, right? And what does it take? Hitting that rank in 1,000 in personal SP. Now, let's talk about something. If a planner gets started, right, and they buy a 3,000 point set, see that, right? Or they get a 3,000 in personal sales, guess what? And 30 customers that are lifetime, they actually could be a manager, but still get paid as a get this unilevel as a senior manager. So they could pick up 3 and 3 right here. Now, this is a big one because I've got team leaders that override customer machines, right? We know some of the customer machines that you see every day, right? On the reports, whenever you see who's number 1 customer getter. Oh, it seems to be the same person. What if they had an upline that was a senior manager? They can actually if they get 5,000 SP a month and 50 lifetime customers, those are their free accounts, they could actually, as a senior manager, instead of just getting 3, getting paid on 4, they could actually get paid on level 5 and 6 too as well. So you could unlock it by not being a team leader. You just do 5,000 a month. Bam. You know what I mean? So you can also get that override. You're not getting team leader pay. You're just getting the unilevel. Make sure you make a note of that. Okay. So let's talk this. I'm going to wrap this thing up real quickly here. Let's talk about this. Who's close to the retailer bonus, right? The top retailer bonus, right? 2,000 in personal SP plus 20 free accounts, extras 5, gives you an extra 5% on all your retail customers. Okay. Or 4,000 in personal SP plus 40 customer accounts gives you an extra 10% on all your retail customers. So how you find that out? I go to team leaders is typically what I'll do. Look at personal volume and connect on Zoom with the people that are close to 2,000 or 4,000 personal volume to see what is needed. Like this person right here, the person above them has got 31,000, right? That person's an animal. She always does that. But this person's at 3,113. What do we need to do? Right? Let's help make sure she gets another Right? 800 points or 900 points to do what? Unlock an additional 5%. She already unlocked 5%. Let's help her unlock the additional 5%. So very important, another impending event, right? So let's talk about these impending events. There's only a couple more left. This is probably the last one. What other monthly promotions are going on, right? Say there's a Valentine's Day promotion coming. I have no idea. Or Costa Rica. And I think I spelled Costa right. That's awesome, right? I typically do that in at least one presentation, okay? Mainly on my first run through. So everybody right now, when's the deadline for Costa Rica? Everybody in Mexico and US and Canada, obviously. This month, right? So by the end of January 31st is the absolute deadline. So we've got to find out who needs what to do what, right? Qualify. So you want to be talking to your people and asking them. Somebody goes, "Can we get a report? How about you call your people?" Have you ever thought about that? Like, Jesus. I think to myself, when I got started in this industry, we didn't even have internet, right? We literally would have to do something called FOD, which is fax on demand. So if I wanted to find one person, how many customers they had, I had to literally fax out an entire report. And it was like it was like a phone book every time, right? I had to fax on demand just to get one person's ID number. So the reason why I tell you that is don't be lazy with your language. Call these people, right? Get in touch with your uplines, like downlines. You should know your people. Touch a heart before you ask for a hand. We all know this, okay? So make sure you guys understand this. This is the biggest driver we have this month. Starting next month, then we start doing what? We start running for Bahamas. It's going to be awesome, okay? So this is it. Bidding events drive success. Obviously, all volume that comes in by the end of January, all the volume that comes in on January is going to be paid out for the monthly checks is going to be paid out on February 15th. So we want to close out what? Strong. We want to close out what? Strong. So I'm going to give you some more ideas on how to make that happen, okay? We all know urgency, immediate action, January 31st, Saturday, 11:59 p.m. everywhere in the world. So if you're in what? In Asia, it's still actually February. You know what I mean? It's actually February, right? So let's talk about this, okay? How to create urgency and close the month strong. The most important thing to be able to understand is what? You've got to establish the right culture. Look at these things. In other countries, that people think we're crazy. This Elf on the Shelf blew up out of nowhere, like literally like in the last 10 years, okay? Halloween, it's unheard of in other countries, okay? Korean people, like Chris brought his Korean kid here for Halloween. This kid was like, dude, this country's the best. You just put a Mario Brothers costume on and they give you free candy, just knock on doors. This is the best, right? It's the best presentation I've ever heard of for promoting how we operate in America. Number one, right cultures are easy to maintain. The right cultures are easy to maintain, but what? Hard to create, aren't they? Right? So it takes time to create them, right? You got to be very focused over a long period of time to establish a very strong culture in your organization, right? Once established, it's very hard to change it. Okay. So you want to start the right culture from the beginning, right? And that's obviously closing the month strong. The right culture is easy to create with newer teams. So if you've got an organization and your team is kind of a little bit slower, just build a new leg, right? Go start a new leadership, go recruit a new group and just blow them up and establish the right culture in that organization. That's what Chris and I do, right? Is just build new teams. Okay. So right now I'm going to give you this. What you do will duplicate. How do your method of operation, right? The way that you operate is going to duplicate. So you want to make sure you're leading by example and understanding this point more than anything else. If somebody hits senior manager by tomorrow or manager by tomorrow on the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, they're going to get paid as a senior manager or manager. Right now, there's a major frenzy on because everybody's running for manager and senior manager. But you want to do it now. Don't wait till the end of the month. There's going to be every month, there's the most amount of senior managers promoted on the end of the month, on the last day of the month. Do not wait. Why? Because if you wait, look, if you get promoted on January 31st at 11:59 p.m., you're not going to get paid as a manager and senior manager on that end of the month frenzy. All that volume that I just talked about that's going to be coming in between now and the end of the month, guess what? You're going to miss out on that if you're not a senior manager now. Do not wait, okay? Waiters typically don't become wealthy, right? I've never seen a wealthy waiter. I've seen wealthy waiters. Waiters typically, what do waiters like? They like tips, right? Waiters are always looking, waitresses love tips. Waiters love tips. Here's a tip. Don't wait. Take action, right? We got to wrap it up right now like a burrito, okay? We got to wrap it up like a Christmas gift, okay? Here we go. Let's talk about creating the right urgency culture, okay? This is the most important thing I can tell you. Okay. If you want to, it's pin versus paycheck. Okay. If you're here for the paycheck, you're going to follow my lead. You want to have 10 legs of senior managers. If you're here for a pin, you just want a team leader pin. You're like, man, I want a team leader pin so bad. You can just build 3. But if you're here for a big paycheck, you want to build 10. Okay. Pin versus paycheck, right? You build wide for profitability. You build depth for stability. This is what we call a solid team leader foundation. Now, obviously, you need 3 team leaders for as a structure to qualify team leader, but you never want to make your minimums your maximums. How many people do I see build 3 legs as senior managers, and then they get into what we call second gear, right? They get into management mode. It's like, you want to learn how to inspire your team is lead by example. Hello, jackpot. Like, go build new legs of business, right? Go create new senior managers and get them to team leader. Because how do you become successful? When you have multiple legs, right? You get 10 legs running, you're off to the races, man. You're a team leader. You look at all the top team leaders. You're like, how many legs do they have that are running? And when you look at the numbers, it's staggering. It's overwhelming because they understand this, right? Want a pay raise at a job? How do you get a pay raise? You don't, right? I never did. I'm sure some of you have, but I never got a pay raise. But here, all you got to do is what? Look in the mirror and say, hey, let's go recruit some new people, and then go sponsor some new people and help them become senior manager, and then get them to team leader, and you get what? A pay raise. Super simple, okay? So let's talk about the next one, right? If you're a director, what do you want to have? You want to have 10 legs of team leaders. Why? Because you want to be a top producing director, right? So build a solid director foundation, right? You only need 3 team leaders for structure to qualify for director, but you never want to make your minimums or maximums. How many team leaders do I have that are like, Tim, I really want to get to director. What am I doing wrong? How many legs of team leaders do you have? Get 10, right? Get 10. You get 10 legs, you're on fire. You're making so much money as a team leader on your way to director. You're making it happen, right? So never make your minimums or maximums, okay? So let's talk about this. How you start will duplicate. If you get started with a 300-point set, we all know we need 19 people to be able to do the same. That's obviously probably not the easiest way to get there, right? Now, if you get started with a 1,000-point set, and guess what? You recruit 5 people that get started with 1,000-point sets, bam, right? Boom, that's obviously a lot easier than 19 people. Now, if you get started with a 1,500-point set, which is obviously the most popular package, you recruit 3 people at 1,500. Now you're what? Senior manager. How you start will duplicate, right? Same thing holds true. Right now, this is what I want to explain to some of you about when I understood this. So I got a 6,000-point pack right from the beginning, okay? Because I'm like, I'm not mad at my money. So typically, if I buy 3,000, right, I'm going to get paid basically 232. If I buy it at 1,500-point sets, I'm going to get 232. And then if I buy 2 more, I'm going to make 464, right, on my rebate, okay? Now, guess what? If I get started at 6,000 for SPs, I'm going to get the manager pay on all 4 packages. So I'm going to get a 20% rebate off of BP, which comes out to be $928. So I'm going to get $928 rebate right out the gates. Okay. So if you hit senior manager in one purchase, one transaction, you leapfrog past planner, you get manager pay, and then instantly, the moment that happens, now you're getting paid as a senior manager. Do you guys see how smart that is? Like, for me, it's a no-brainer. Like, I'm like the type of guy that's like, a lot of money's good, more money's better, but too much money's just right. I knew I was going to need the products because I knew I was going to become wealthy here. Like, I didn't get started being like, oh, I hope this works. Like, I knew it. Like, I knew I was going to make it happen. I knew I needed products because that's how I got started. I fell in love with the products, and I'm like, dude, I just got to find some skin, get this stuff on people's skin, and this thing's going to blow up like a volcano, right? Erupt like in a volcano. And that's what happened. Within the first week, all 4 of my sets were already gone. I didn't have any. I had to go get more products, right? So I'm telling you this for one reason. How you start will duplicate. You don't have to do this. I did this because I think in terms of dollars and percentages, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, when I see people get a 300-point set, I'm like, you're that's not going to last you for life. You know what I mean? Like you're getting 1 jar of cream, bro. Like, I'm like, dude, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, you can't become successful if you're a toe dipper. Right? You can't dip your toe in the water and think you're going to learn how to swim, right? You got to get committed, right? And that is for everybody something different. I don't promote this to everybody. I mean, I tell everybody, but I don't promote it, right? You know what I mean? Obviously, the premium starter kits vary, but if I order 4 premium starter kits at 6,000 SP, you're going to get a 20% rebate, 464 cash, 464 free product credit. And please don't think you're doing, don't think about doing this unless you know you'll be able to sell the products. Right? Because then you're going to get the money back from the products, right? But also, for me, it was like, I'm going to use these products to recruit like crazy, right? That's what I did. So let's talk about it. Knowing the pay. This is very important to do, right? More than ever before, right? We want to know the pay, okay? So I'm going to show you this is how much you earn on customer acquisition, right? As a planner manager, this is another reason why I got started senior manager, because I get tons of customers. I talk to people all day long. So as a team leader, senior manager, planner, the difference in customer acquisition. As a planner, the reason why you can get an extra 10% there, but if you sell 4,000, you obviously know you're a manager, right? So I didn't even put that on there. But as if you're getting 10% off your customer acquisition at 4,000, right? Getting the extra pay, that's 400 in income. As a manager, you're getting 1,200, right? Because you're unlocking that extra 10% as long as you've got your 40 lifetime customer accounts, your free accounts. Now, as a senior manager, you're unlocking 30 plus 10, which is 40. That's 1,600. Do you guys see that? 1,600 in income. And obviously, as a team leader, you do that, you're making 2,000. Like, who in the world just wouldn't be getting at least 4,000 SP a month or BP a month in customer acquisition? Just to make an extra 2,000 a month, right? Why would you not? Like, why would you not share this process with everybody? You know, I have to share this stuff with people. I see people walking around with dry skin. I'm like, oh, dude, that's my fault. That's my fault. I did that. Like, I didn't hook them up. I got to hook them up. You know what I mean? I got to hook them up. They can't be walking around looking like that, right? They don't have to. You know what I mean? My neighbor, I'm like, Bill, you don't have to look like that. You know what I mean? I go, do you know how your wife, she looks at you and she's like, yeah. I go, dude, it's because you're not using my stuff, man. I go, try this stuff out. I guarantee you, your wife's going to be chasing you around the house, my man. And I'm like, hey, hope you're fast, because she looks like she's pretty quick. And I just get them all jacked. Or you get them buying the products on a monthly basis. Now, you got to understand the power of the unilevel, because this is the long-term income. Okay. If you have 3 serious planners, okay, now you might need to recruit 10 to find 3 serious players that are going to be here long-term. And let's say it takes you a year. And then in the course of a year, they do it again. They do what you just did. That's 9. They do what you did again in the course of what? A year. It's 27, 81, 243. So in 6 years, you find 3 that get 3 that get 3 that get 3. That's doable. Like, I think everybody agrees with me that you could find 3 serious planners in a year. Okay. And if you teach them all how to get a 1,000 BP personal per planner, guess what? You're making 33,000 a month plus the differential payout. Okay. But I want you to understand this. 33,000 a month. What would your life look like with 33,000? That's why getting everybody to get jacked about the unilevel is the most important thing. Because if you help people get in the habit of making as much as they can, they're going to make as much as they can, as fast as they can. Your team's going to grow like wildfire through a dry brush field. So you want to teach your team to make all your money you can. Why is this the best thing in our comp plan? Imagine you recruited 1,092 people and we asked them to get 0 customers. We want you to get 0 a month. How much you think they would get? Majority of them. Probably a 0. Now, if you ask them to get 1,000 SP a month to unlock unilevel, then what's going to happen? Some will get 1,000, some will get less. But if you don't ask for 1,000, you ain't going to get 1,000. When you build an army of people, you want them selling stuff. Like, I tell you this, oh my God, I don't have time to talk about it, but some companies, man, I'm like, you recruited an army of people and you're not asking them to do anything? Why even build an army? It's like, that's just ridiculous, right? You build an army that is doing something, and we give people an incentive to get 1,000 SP here every month. That's the smartest thing in the world, right? Because you want people doing what? Introducing your products to people. And when they do, they get paid this extra money that I'm showing you right now. So it's so beautiful. Now, if you teach your people, hey, we don't want to do all that, we just want to get 100 BP, you'd be making 3,300 a month. So if you would rather make 3,300 a month, don't promote the unilevel, right? But I promote the unilevel because 33,000 is better than 3,300, according to my banker. Okay. Now, double success. This is what I got. Organizations like I got leaders on our team that, like, their average is not 2,000. Like, they teach their team how to get like 10, 20,000. It's like, when I look at their numbers, I'm like, you guys aren't normal. Like, you guys are like unicorns, right? You know, I call them team unicorn, right? Because they do wild stuff. So just understand, you can teach people how to do whatever. You can set the standard. If you teach everybody to do 2,000 because they're going to get paid that extra 5%, teach 2,000. Teach 4,000 if you want to teach everybody to be able to get the extra 10% on their customers, right? I'm telling you, get customers and get customer getters. Get customers, get customer getters, get customers, get customer getters. Make a lot of money. Here we go. Understand this. When you recruit people, okay, this is what you get per distributor set. Like when somebody gets a 300 point set, 1,000 point set, and a 1,500 point set within your unilevel, right? Level 1 and 2, 300 point sets are worth $11.50. Level 1 and 2, 1,000 point sets are worth $38 to you. 1,500 point sets are worth $58 to you on level 1 and 2. On level 3 through 6, 300 point sets are worth $6.90. 1,000 point sets are worth what? $22.80. 1,500 point sets are worth $34.80. Extra money. And somebody gets started, all those combined are paid out. Do you guys get that? So on a 1,500 point set, 34, 34, 34, 34, 58, 58, it's all paid out. So beautiful. Now, if you're teaching somebody how to get started at 3,000 or 6,000 SP, here's how much you make on level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. This is just the unilevel, not in counting the what? Differential. Do you guys understand how powerful this thing is? It's unbelievable, right? Plus the payout, right? Current differential, okay? So let me show you guys this. This is how much sponsoring a planner gets for frontline recruiting with unilevel and differential. Planners, 300 point sets, 23, 76, 116 on the 1,500 point sets, okay? Manager, 34, 114, 174. Senior managers, 57, 190, 290. When they personally sponsor somebody and help them get a set. $80 for team leaders for the 300 point set. 266, 406. The money is there. Are you telling me, like, what? All we got to do is get to what? Work. You guys see how smart that is? So look, and you guys all know the senior managers get what? They get that 5% override on their managers and on managers and planners all the way down into the next senior manager, right? On level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way down. 5% is going to somebody, right? Going to a senior manager. First one that finds. For the 300 point sets, that 5% is worth 11. The 1,000 point set, 39, 58 for the 1,500 point set is going. That's past their level 1, right? So there's money like never before. Team leaders, oh my Lord. Look at this, right? If you have a planner leg with no team leaders, no senior, no, they're not sponsored by anything but planners. You're looking at 57, 190, 290. Every time somebody comes at a 1,500 point set as a team leader anywhere in your organization, if there's no upline senior manager and is brought in by a planner, you're making 290. Help your planners win, right? Planners with a senior manager, you're making what? If there's somebody above them, you're making what? 20% because they get that 5%. You're making 232. Managers with no senior managers above them, you're getting 20%, 232. So just this pay is ridiculous. How much money's in this thing? The company wants us to do what? Hit these ranks and help people win. You and I know if people get products, they have a very good chance of winning. And the bigger the set, the more products they're equipped with for them to go out and promote the business. Let's go. Man, I'm getting pumped up. And then obviously leadership check match. You guys all know this. 85% is paid out. 40, 20, 10, 5, 5, 5. Look at this. Let me tell you, just on team leaders, you just say you're getting 3 generations, right? And you create 5 team leaders. If it takes you 5 years to do that, right? And they're averaging 10,000 a month after 5 years, right? You got, boom, 40%. You're getting $20,000 just on them. You teach them to do the same thing. You're getting what? Now you got 25. Oh, let's say it takes 5 years, 50,000, right? 5 years, generation 3, 125. Boom, 195,000. This portion of our check is out of this world because we don't have 5 first level team leaders. We got 8 first level directors. Do you guys understand what that means? This part of our check is absolutely bonkers. I'm telling you, this is where the money's at, is developing leaders and teaching them how to make a lot of money. Man, I'm getting pumped up. This is what your income looks like over time, right? Is your team leader commissions are going to be like this. If you go 10 wide, they're never going to go like that. They're going to always go up, 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 up. Unilevels like this, matching bonuses like this. This thing's, I love this comp plan, okay? Last thing is this. Let's break this month down. I'm going to wrap this thing up here real quickly. Safety and numbers and law of averages. Got to learn how to break your goals down, okay? Obviously, when you do something often enough, a ratio is going to appear, okay? Know your ratios, right? You got to know your ratios. Work the numbers, right? Inch by inch, this business is a cinch. Yard by yard is when it becomes hard, right? Numbers don't lie. People like numbers don't lie. So when you want to let the numbers tell the story, right? Let the numbers tell the story. My mentor would ask, if I would ever complain to my mentor, he would say to me when I first got started in the industry, he goes, just write down how many people you recruited today and how many customers you got before you talk to me. He had a card. If anybody came in his office You had to write that down before you could talk to him. And he goes, Tim, since I instituted this, nobody's coming in here. Because most people are I never complained, right? Because I was homeless before I got involved in this and I was grateful. But make a box so your numbers so the story doesn't fit, just numbers, right? Proper planning obviously prevents poor productivity. So let's look at this, okay? We can't control the productivity, but we control the activity. And when you focus on the activity, the productivity goes through the roof. So how do you break down your goals? Okay, Sinaloa, right? If you want to become a senior manager, right? Let's say you want to get 6,000 and BP, right? And let's say that you divide that by the average BP per pop up, which is 500. How many you would need 12 pop ups, right? So if somebody wanted to become a senior manager, right, in 1 month and sell 6,000 worth of products, boom, by that, all they gotta do is schedule 12 pop ups, right? And that's no brain. That's easy, right? All you got to do is schedule one. When you schedule your first one, you schedule weekend is a weekday. Schedule two, get it into there, sell the products. People that love it, tell them that you'll give them this product if they do what? Give them a free product from your kit if they host a pop up that creates at least $500 worth of sales. It's so easy, right? And you just go it's bat fat, right? Book a party from a party. Book a party from a party. Book a party from a party. Back. I'll do that later. That training later. But break down your goal. Okay, if let's say you wanted to do 10,000 in volume, right? So you're building a new leg and you want to get 10,000 in volume from that line. We know that the average BP per new planner is about 750, right? So that equals the planners needed, right? I need 13 planners to get started. Multiply my sign-up ratio for average person's 1 out of 4. That's how many exposures I need, which is 53 divided by 25 working days. That's 2.1 exposures a day. So if I do 2.1 exposures a day with a new line, I'm going to crush 10,000 BP out of that line, probably more like 13,000 SP, right? So let's talk about what? Let's talk about if I wanted to do 25,000 BP out of a leg. What do I do? Same scenario. I break it all down the same way. Comes out to 5.3 exposures a day. So if I do 5.3 exposures a day driving through that leg, I'm going to easily push to 25,000 BP from that team, right? Super simple, right? Same thing, 100,000. If I want to drive 100,000 from one of my legs, all I got to do is what? Break it all down. And then we need 21.3 exposures a day. Then what do? I'm like, we got to develop presenters, right? If you develop 10 presenters, if you got 10 presenters presenting 2.13 a day, boom, we got it done, right? So just develop presenters and bam, we can go out there and crush it, right? So I just duplicate, go after it, make it happen. I'm not going to get into the habit of persistence tonight. I'll say this for another training. What I want to just give you guys an update on is what, right? Things that are happening right now. Because Saturday, we've got something big happening. Get ready for Saturday. Saturday is going to happen. Everybody's going to be so excited about Saturday, right? It's the first time that we've ever done this. I do want to show you this, right? Today, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Why you want to stay on track? Bam. Stay on track. Boom. Okay. Look at the top is effort in white. Yellow's what? Results. So your results go through the roof. You're not putting in as much effort. Your results are going through the roof because you stayed on track. Now, what happens is if you don't stay on track, what happens is this. You get nudged off track and then guess what? Boom. Black eye. Do you guys see what happens? That's why you got to get everybody to convention. Okay. Let's look at this. Thursday, what's happening, right? We have an overview for us to bring guests to. Don't want to miss out on that. Some of the best presenters we got. Friday training, Elizabeth Bear. She's a custom acquisition monster, just sponsor monster as well. And Chris Kim are going to be doing a special training there. You're going to love that training. And then Saturday is the big event that we've all been waiting for. Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. You got to get on this Zoom. It's going to be a full-on training, super Saturday. It's going to be a playbook VIP training. Never done one of these before. It's going to be next level. You got to be on that training no matter what. If you're in a different country, we'll get you the recording. Don't worry. Okay. I don't want somebody staying up to doing this at 4 a.m. All I can tell you guys right now, this moment in time will never be duplicated again. This window of opportunity will never happen again. We've got to make a decision in our mind and make a decision in ourselves right now that we're going to take action right now like never before, that we're going to give it everything that we got, right? We got to look in the mirror and say to ourselves, look, this is our time. This is our chance. And in order to win, we got to take action. Without action, nothing counts, right? So you can get excited, you can get fired up about your goals and dreams, but guess what? Have 3 to 5 guests on Thursday's overview, right? We got to have a call to action, right? You got to finish your qualifications for Costa Rica. I spelled it right that time, okay? You got to get to Costa Rica. If you're running for Costa Rica, we got to wrap it up. If you're not running for Costa Rica because you just got started today, boom, get ready for what? Bahamas, right? If you're in Asia, man, you guys are already on the clock, right? For what? Phuket. What? Phuket. Unbelievable, okay? So let's make sure we enter all volume by pay period deadline. Everything has to be entered before pay period deadline. Everybody's closing out this month right now like never before. Register for the Long Beach Convention. Now is the time. This is our time and our chance. Get everybody to the Long Beach Convention. And guess what? Right? Promote the Playbook VIP training this Saturday. This is our time. Let's make a decision in our mind, in our heart right now that says, I've got what it takes. I'm going to win. I'm going to be a success. I'm going to give it everything I got. I'm going to close out this month stronger than ever before. This moment in time will never be recreated again. It'll never be duplicated again. Let's go all out massive action. Let's lock arms right now. Make sure nobody gets left behind. Let's give it everything that we got, and let's close out this month stronger than ever before. So with that being said, I hope everybody's fired up right now like I am. This is our time. This is our chance. Let's give it all that we got. Let's take massive action. And guess what? Let's become a success together. Think about this. What does you on fire look like? What does you with an eye gaze that says, man, I'm up to something. I'm up to something. Do you want to join me? What does that look like? Make a commitment in your mind. Make a commitment in your heart. Let's lock arms. Let's go all out massive action, and let's make it happen together. With that being said, thank you so much for joining us. We got a lot of great stuff happening right now as we close out this month. Let's make it happen right now, right here, like never before. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys all at the top, everybody. Take care, everybody.